Here with the story shaping Dominica and the wider world, I am Anna Benjamin with EmoNews for the 8th of April 2026. In tonight's news package, Rotary Club of Dominica announces 31st VOSH mission. Youth Empowerment Series builds skills and confidence in Venice. Southwest Airlines inaugural flight lands in St. Martin. Regional Firearm Roadmap meeting opens in Dominica to boost Caribbean security collaboration. And Democrats call for Trump's removal following Iran threats. Stay tuned for the details of these stories and more.
Welcome to Antigua. These people have no behavior, they have no behavior. Welcome to Antigua. Clear out how you know it's danger, how you know it's danger. When it comes to massive deadly.
First up in local news, the Rotary Club of Dominica has announced the hosting of its 31st Volunteer Optometric Services to Humanity VOSH mission, scheduled to take place from May 11th to May 14th, 2026. The mission will provide eye care services at multiple locations across the island, including the Portsmouth Hospital on May 11th, the St. Joseph Health Center on May 12th, and the Goodwill Parish Hall on May 13th and 14th. The Goodwill Clinics will serve communities from Grand Bay to Point Michel on the first day and from Maho to Newtown on the second day. Members of the public have been advised to visit their respective health centers for pre-screening ahead of the clinics. Only individuals who have been pre-screened and issued a number will be accommodated during the mission. Organizers say this process is necessary to ensure efficient service delivery and to allow as many patients as possible to benefit from the free eye care services. The Rotary Club is encouraging all interested persons to complete the pre-screening process early and to contact the nearest health center for further information. In other news, the Ministry of National Security, in collaboration with the United Nations Regional Center for Peace, Disarmament and Development in Latin America and the Caribbean, officially opened the Inter-Institutional Roundtable meeting on the Caribbean Firearms Roadmap on Wednesday. This opening ceremony was held at the Office of Disaster Management in Jimit, marking the start of a 3-day regional engagement running from April 8th to April 10th. Delivering welcome remarks were several key officials, including the Director, Soledad Urela, Assistant Director for Policy, Strategy and Innovation at CARICOM Impacts, Callistus Joseph. During her remarks, Urela highlighted the importance of the Caribbean Firearms Roadmap and emphasized continued training and collaboration across the region.
An initiative aimed at combating the illicit proliferation of firearms and ammunition within the region. I want to thank you for your attendance today and your dedication to addressing this issue. I would also like to take this opportunity to thank the government of the United States, whose generous funding has made this meeting possible and who has supported the work of EmoNews for several years. As I am sure you are all aware, the Caribbean region has witnessed an increase in violence involving firearms. Illicit firearms pose a significant threat to the safety and well-being of citizens, fueling violence, hindering economic development, and I don't think it's an exaggeration to say that it's undermining the very fabric of our societies. The adverse impact of firearms-related violence has been well documented and addressed in international instruments and frameworks such as the 2030 Agenda for Sustainable Development or the Pact for the Future, among others. Adopted in July 2020 by 16 states, The Caribbean Firearms Roadmap was developed through consensus among national authorities and stakeholders. It outlines regional challenges, thematic areas, targets, timelines, and the commitments required by participating states. Its success hinges largely on the concerted efforts of Caribbean authorities and the timely, targeted, and coordinated support of partners and donors. On behalf of America, it is truly a pleasure and an honor to support Dominica in the drafting of its National Action Plan under the roadmap.
Meanwhile, Brett Hernandez reaffirmed the commitment of the U.S. Embassy to supporting Dominica and the wider Caribbean, noting that U.S. law enforcement agencies continue to work tirelessly and rely heavily on strong partnerships with local law enforcement.
I am excited to be here on behalf of the U.S. Embassy, joining leaders from Dominica at this roundtable meeting to develop Dominica's National Action Plan to combat firearms trafficking. Through the Caribbean Basin Security Initiative, the United States is proud to fund UNLREC in the implementation of the Caribbean Firearms Roadmap and continue critical security cooperation with the government of Dominica. Dominica and its neighbors in the Caribbean have made it abundantly clear that they are gravely concerned about the impact of firearms trafficking on our region. Transnational criminal groups and drug traffickers continue to proliferate small arms and ammunition throughout the Caribbean, arming gangs and transnational criminal organizations that threaten U.S. and Caribbean security. As Secretary Rubio acknowledged during his remarks at the recent CARICOM Heads of Government meeting, many of the weapons that are used by criminal organizations to commit acts of violence across the Caribbean are purchased in the United States. U.S. law enforcement agencies are working tirelessly to shut down these trafficking networks, but we rely on your cooperation to drive investigations and bring the traffickers to justice.
And Daniel Jamut, Research and Policy Manager at CARICOM Impacts, presented on regional firearms trends and analysis, stressing the critical importance of the session in addressing growing security concerns. The meeting brought together key stakeholders from across the Caribbean with the aim of strengthening cooperation and advancing strategies to combat firearm-related crime and enhance public safety. Officials underscored the need for coordinated regional efforts and partnerships to tackle the increasing challenges posed by illegal firearms and violence. The initiative forms part of ongoing efforts to promote safer communities and reinforce security frameworks throughout the Caribbean. And finally, the Youth Empowerment and Career Development Series, hosted by the Dominica Youth Business Trust, in collaboration with the Youth Development Division, Peace Corps, Rotary Club of Portsmouth, and the Benz SDA Church, continued to make a positive impact on young people in the community. One of the organizers gave a brief overview of what they were engaged in.
To participate in a 7-week series that covered topics such as entrepreneurship, utilizing artificial intelligence in the workspace, soft skills in the workspace such as communication, and also just leveraging yourself and how to be a good business owner.
During the session, Philip Roll of the Dominica Youth Business Trust delivered brief remarks encouraging participants to take advantage of opportunities for personal and professional growth.
For us, it was an extreme pleasure to be here. The distance didn't even feel that long because of the participation that we received from you, all the participants. And we hope that the entrepreneurship skills that we were able to share with you is something that you can take on. So it was not just about making boats, it was not just about playing games, it was about learning real things that will help you should you want to become an entrepreneur. And just to reiterate that the DYBT is always here to provide that support to you should you want to take it to the next level. So for us, it's been a pleasure, and we hope that one day we can come and patronize some of your businesses in the future. Yes. Right? Thank you.
EmoNews also spoke with several participants who shared their experiences and highlighted the value of the program.
So my thoughts on the program was that it was a very good initiative by the partners. Came at a much needed time. We have such a dynamic environment right now with so many projects happening. So it was much needed for to open the eyes and the minds of young persons in the area to think bigger and to develop themselves and to develop their career paths.
My name is Amar Joseph, and I was a participant of the youth empowerment training. And I find it was a very good training. It was very interesting, and that it helped me to understand how to manage business and manage time, and it helped me to also get over the fear of public speaking.
My name is Stacey Celestine. I am a participant of the Youth Empowerment and Career Development Program. It was a very interesting course. We did entrepreneurship and resume. I believe that this course should be continued, especially through experience in the interview part. A lot of young persons, although it was not a real interview, but we were very nervous, and that course will help to empower young persons.
Ahead of the closing ceremony, participants took part in mock interviews, gaining practical experience in preparing for the job market. Interviewers later provided feedback, offering insights on performance, strengths, and areas for improvement. The participants received certificates signaling the end of the series. Organizers say the initiative continues to equip youth with essential life and career skills, helping them build confidence and prepare for future opportunities. And that's all for local news. Stay tuned for regional news. And in regional news, the EcoShore Sustainable Futures Network, ESFN, engaged students at the Antigua Girls High School Career Day on April 1st, 2026, promoting career exploration, personal development, and future planning. The team led interactive discussions on project management and encouraged students to embrace their skills and passions while exploring diverse career paths. The visit held special significance as several ESFN members are former students of the institution, reinforcing the importance of mentorship and giving back. Students dressed in career-themed uniforms ranging from healthcare to business and construction actively participated and posed thoughtful questions about navigating career choices and overcoming challenges. ESFN highlighted opportunities within the blue, green, and orange economies, emphasizing that career paths are flexible and can evolve over time. Discussions also focused on resilience, adapting to change, and managing setbacks, including those related to climate challenges. Portfolio manager Brittany McDonald shared her experience working in fields such as infrastructure, technology, and finance, encouraging young women to pursue opportunities in traditionally male-dominated industries. The session also included a financial literacy activity aimed at teaching budgeting, saving, and planning skills as part of ESFN's financial literacy program. ESFN said the initiative forms part of its broader mission to empower youth, promote gender equity, and equip the next generation with the tools and confidence needed to succeed in an ever-changing world. And in news from Grenada, the government of Grenada has concluded a collective agreement with the Bank and General Workers Union and the Grenada Manual Maritime and Intellectual Workers Union, representing farm workers and cooks for the period 2026 to 2028. Prime Minister Dickon Mitchell said the agreement reflects the government's commitment to valuing all workers and ensuring fairness, dignity, and stability within the labor sector. The agreement provides for salary increases of 4% in 2026, 4% in 2027, and 5% in 2028, balancing improved worker welfare with national economic priorities. Officials noted that the negotiations were conducted in a professional and respectful manner, resulting in a mutually beneficial outcome for both the government and unions. In addition to salary adjustments, the agreement also includes improvements in working conditions aimed at enhancing the overall well-being of employees. The government also commended union leaders, including Oscar Williams and Joseph Mitchell, for their constructive engagement throughout the process. The agreement forms part of Grenada's broader efforts to strengthen labor relations, modernize the public sector, and support sustainable national development. And in St. Martin, the country marked a major milestone in air travel and tourism with the arrival of the inaugural Southwest Airlines flight from Orlando. The new daily non-stop service strengthens connectivity between the island and the United States, providing travelers with easier access to more than 45 destinations across the U.S. network. Officials described the launch as a significant step forward in expanding tourism and boosting economic opportunities, noting that the development has been years in the making, with planning efforts dating back to 2012. Further expansion is already on the horizon, with service from Baltimore-Washington International Airport set to begin on April 11th, creating an additional gateway to the island. The new route is expected to enhance visitor arrivals and reinforce St. Martin's position as a premier Caribbean destination, while opening new opportunities for business and regional connectivity. And finally, Charge d'Affaires Karen Sullivan joined regional leaders in St. Lucia for the Regional Security System Council of Ministers meeting, highlighting the importance of collaboration in advancing regional security. Discussions focused on key areas such as strengthening criminal intelligence capabilities and enhancing digital forensics across the Caribbean. The meeting also marked progress in joint initiatives, including the launch of a DEA-vetted RAID unit aimed at improving law enforcement response and tackling serious crime in the region. Officials noted that the United States continues to deepen cooperation with Caribbean partners, reinforcing efforts to build safer and more secure communities through strategic partnerships. And that's all for regional news. Stay tuned for international news.
Blast Gaming presents its biggest job whatever. Blast Mystery Progressive. I'm so excited. I can't hide it. In your blast up and rising. And I like it. It going up and up and up and up and up. Blast up and up and up and up and up and up.
Play selected games to win in the Blast Mystery Progressive. Pick until you match 3 gems and win one of the 5 cash jackpots. Or you can blast up with the Mystery Progressive jackpot.
It's going up and up and up and up and up. Blast up and up and up. Blast Gaming.
And first up in international news, dozens of U.S. Democratic lawmakers have called for the removal of Donald Trump after he issued strong threats against Iran, including a warning that a whole civilization could be wiped out. More than 70 members of Congress, including senators such as Ed Markey and Chris Murphy, supported measures ranging from impeachment to invoking the 25th Amendment to declare the president unfit for office. Lawmakers argued that the remarks were dangerous and could amount to violations of international law, with some warning that such rhetoric risks escalating global tensions. The comments also drew concern from international bodies, including the United Nations, which reminded leaders that wars have rules under the Geneva Conventions. Despite later announcing a 2-week ceasefire between the United States and Iran, several Democrats maintained their position, insisting that the president's earlier statements warranted removal from office. The situation has intensified political tensions in Washington, with renewed debates over presidential conduct and the limits of executive power. And in related news, missile strikes have been reported across the Gulf region and Israel, coming just hours after President Donald Trump announced a 2-week ceasefire agreement with Iran. Despite the announcement, the renewed attacks raised concerns about the stability of the deal. A U.S. official has confirmed that American forces have, for now, paused military strikes on Iran. Meanwhile, attention has turned to the strategic Strait of Hormuz. Iran's foreign minister says the country's military will coordinate the safe passage of vessels through the waterway during the ceasefire period. Reopening the strait was reportedly a key condition set by President Trump in securing the agreement. Looking ahead, diplomatic efforts are underway. Shahbaz Sharif has invited delegations from both Iran and the United States to Islamabad for talks scheduled on Friday. Pakistan had earlier proposed the temporary ceasefire as a window to pursue negotiations. However, tensions remain elsewhere. Israel says the ceasefire applies only to Iran and does not extend to Lebanon. According to the office of Benjamin Netanyahu, Israeli military operations involving Lebanon may continue. We will keep monitoring developments as this story unfolds. And finally, in international news, countries across the Gulf and wider Middle East have welcomed the recently announced two-week ceasefire between Iran and the United States, urging continued dialogue to secure a permanent end to the conflicts. The truce, which includes the reopening of the strategically vital Strait of Hormuz, came after weeks of escalating tensions and marks a pause in hostilities as diplomatic talks are set to begin in Pakistan. Regional powers including Saudi Arabia, Oman, Iraq, Egypt, and Turkey expressed support for the ceasefire, emphasizing the need for sustained negotiations and long-term solutions to address the root causes of the conflicts. Officials also stressed the importance of protecting international navigation and ensuring stability across the region, particularly following concerns over attacks on infrastructure and rising tensions involving multiple countries. While welcoming the developments, leaders cautioned that the ceasefire must be fully implemented and built upon through meaningful dialogue to prevent further escalation. The agreement has raised hopes for de-escalation in a conflict that has impacted much of the Middle East, with calls growing for a comprehensive and lasting peace. And that's it for international news. We'll be right back with sports.
Don't forget, today we have funeral, we have functions. Make sure you're on time.
Always on time, eh?
You're always on time. Make sure. All right. Papa Met, look, I just received a message from National Bank asking me to regain access to my account. I can't message that. Your account has been placed on hold due to an unusual activity. Let me click that link.
How many times NBD has to say that they will never ever send links via text message to regain access to account or to restore account or to do anything with account?
So National Bank that send it, I believe it. I just click in.
Emo, if you are not sure, it's better if you call National Bank at 255-2300 or email them at customersupport@nbd.dm.
Papa Met, little again I lose all the little money I save up from my account.
And you'd find money to pay me.
Yeah, I tell you, I almost click the link and almost lose my money. You're talking about I hope I have money to pay you. Let's go, eh?
All I know is don't click any link. Call NBD instead.
So let us know our business.
And in sports news, the 2026 West Indies Championship is set to bowl off on April 12th, featuring a new format with 3 rounds of bilateral matches among 6 regional franchises. Reigning champions Guyana Happy Eagles will open their campaign against the Windward Islands Volcanoes in Antigua, setting the stage for a highly anticipated encounter. The Happy Eagles enter the contest as favorites, having dominated the competition in recent years with 8 titles, including 3 consecutive championships. They are also unbeaten in their last 5 matches against the Volcanoes. Captain Tevin Imlach expressed confidence in his team's ability to continue their strong run while remaining focused on the present challenge. Meanwhile, the Volcanoes are aiming for a turnaround after finishing last in the previous season. Led by captain Dominica's very own Alec Athanas, the team features a mix of experienced players such as Sunil Ambrose and emerging talents including Akim August and Teddy Bishop. Athanas said the squad is motivated and confident adding that the team is ready to challenge the reigning champions and compete at a higher level this season. The opening match is scheduled for April 12th to the 15th at the Sir Vivian Richards Stadium, with 2 additional rounds to follow later in the month at other venues in Antigua. Cricket fans can expect an intense battle between experienced champions and determined challengers, as both teams pursue early momentum in the tournament. And in more cricket news, and the final story this evening in sports, the Winlot Super 6 Windward Islands Under-19 cricket tournament is set to bowl off in Dominica from April 11th to the 18th, bringing together some of the region's most promising young cricketers. Defending champions, Dominica, will be looking to retain their title on home soil, with the national team entering the competition with confidence and determination. Led by Captain Arsenio Fountain, the squad is focused on delivering another strong performance as they prepare for a competitive tournament against teams from across the Windward Islands. Cricket fans have been encouraged to come out in full support and rally behind the team as the tournament provides a platform for showcasing the future stars of West Indies cricket. And that's it for sports. We'll be right back with the weather report. And here is a weather report from the Dominica Meteorological Service. A high-pressure system continues to influence the island, bringing partly cloudy to occasionally cloudy skies, along with breezy conditions and a few brief showers. Winds are expected from the east to east-southeast at 15 to 35 kilometers per hour, with higher gusts at times. Sea conditions are moderate, with wave heights ranging between 5 and 7 feet. A caution is being issued to small craft operators and sea bathers, particularly along the west coast, where increasing northerly swells may create hazardous conditions. In addition, a slight increase in Saharan dust is expected to affect air quality. Individuals with respiratory sensitivities are advised to take the necessary precautions. That's your latest weather update, and as always, remind you to stay informed and stay safe. This has been Emo Nightly News Edition for April 8th, 2026. I am Soana Benjamin, and I'll be back tomorrow evening.